Welcome to the Back Nine Six Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 49 of the Back Nine Six Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. Spring has sprung. I'm battling a sinus infection, but maybe none of that compares to March Sadness and your day last Thursday.
No, Thursday was a bad day. Actually, it was a really good day up until about, I don't know, when did I hit rock bottom during the game? 8:15, maybe 8:30. Halfway through the second half, realizing that I already knew the outcome of that game before it was even over. But yeah, Oakland. Shout out to Jack Gohlke and Oakland. I mean, yeah, it was the story of the tournament up until that point, right? It was from what I read, it was the most watched game of the first and second round so far.
I mean, I
think it's, you add in Kentucky is a big draw regardless, but then people were probably looking at the score. Maybe they're watching another game like, oh shit, I got to turn this on, and turned it on. So I think that's probably, but it was bad. Gut reaction was to fire John Calipari. After days of thinking about it, I don't think that's probably the best play for many reasons. We won't go into all those, but it's funny. About a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, me and Gunther were playing golf. Somehow the discussion came up about coaches. I think it started with like who was going to be the next Ohio State coach and all this, and and then Gunt's like, he's like, what are the best jobs in college basketball? And I'm like, well, I think there's one job, and then I think there's like down way below that one job is like the next 4 or 5, and then after that, it's like even a bigger drop off after that. And we talked about it, and I said, I think, and he's like, well, what do you think the best job is? I was like, I think it's not even close. I think the most, I guess, highest profile job in college basketball is Kentucky, right? You take the most heat, but you also get the biggest platform, right? They're constantly on ESPN. They're playing in the Champions Classic, and they're doing all the, they're on national television probably more than, I'd say 25 to 30% more than most teams. But with that comes, if you lose to Oakland in the first round and you're 2-8 in your last 10 postseason games, and that includes conference tournaments, that's why I had the gut reaction I did.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. Highest profile, probably. I don't think it's the best job. I don't know that you necessarily want.
Well,
that.
I don't. Well, coaches don't go after the best job. A lot of coaches want the highest profile job because it comes with a lot of things, right? It comes with fame, pay, a platform for other things. And this was not me as a Kentucky fan. Gunther even went as far as saying that it's the highest profile basketball job, period. And that includes the NBA. And I don't disagree with that because NBA coaches are a lot like, they're a lot like your stockbroker. You hear from them when you need them, right? Other than that, they really just kind of, they're there, but they're not there, right? Yeah. Like, they're on the sideline, but you're like, when you're watching an NBA game, they're like, well, so-and-so made this decision. Well, no, you're talking about LeBron making a last second shot, right? Like, they're not talking about the play the coach drew up or anything like that. So Gunn said it is the highest basketball profile basketball job, which I also agree with. And he was probably, and we expanded even further than that. It's probably like, it's realistically, any job in sport is probably a top, as far as profile goes, a probably top 7-8 job. As far as profile, you throw in above that, it's probably like Dallas Cowboys football coach, probably some European soccer team, like Man United or something, like their manager or something like that. There's other, but like it's probably up there. And again, when you go 2-8 in your last 10 postseason games, which includes no Sweet 16s in the last since 2019, at a school that, and look, I'm the first one to admit, as a fan base, we are completely and utterly spoiled. Like, especially people my age. We're old enough to remember 96, 97, which was a runner-up year, but 96 was a national championship. 97 was a runner-up year. 98 was a national championship. And then Cal comes along, and it's Final Four after Final Four after Final Four, national title, Elite Eight, Elite Eight, Elite Eight. Like, that run between 10 and 19 for Kentucky basketball was probably almost as good, and considering how hard the tournament is now, was almost as good as the 3 years in the 90s. So we're completely spoiled. And I completely understand that. But it was a tough Thursday. I was really looking forward to it. We were going out of town. We were going to Kentucky for just a short little getaway. And I was looking forward to like building my Saturday around watching that game, and it didn't end up happening. So
we'll leave the rest of Kentucky to KSR. But one last question. Bigger bad guy here, Doug Edert or Jack Gohlke?
Do I not like most?
Yes.
The Jack Gohlke stuff, look, on Friday, I completely submersed myself with reading about what happened and seeing the memes of Jack Gohlke. I would say Jack Gohlke only because this was the loss that made me the most sad. The St. Mary's one, not that I thought they should have, or St. Peter's. Yes, not St. Mary's. I wouldn't have been that upset. I mean, I'd been upset, but that loss, like, they were a 2 seed, but if you were a true Kentucky fan and someone that knows basketball and watches, I don't know, I watch anywhere between 150 and 200 college basketball games in a year. You were watching other teams, you're like, yeah, this team's not that good. Mm-hmm. Like they could, now how the bracket busted out after, they would have had to beat Purdue. Like, that might have been their hardest game on the way to an Elite Eight. But you're like, man, they kind of fumbled a chance. But I would say from a sad standpoint of like, I truly felt this team had every piece and to put up the worst offensive night they have all season and then have some soon-to-be financial planner drop 10 threes on them. I would say it's him. I don't hate either guy because I love this tournament so much. I respect what they've done.
Yeah.
But the Jack Gohlke memes, like, just were flowing in the next day. So I would say for the reason of like him just looking like just like the guy that shows up to the Y and just paints everybody. Like, that's why I hate him. Like, I hate Jack Gohlke the most. And it was this sad. This loss made me more sad than the St. Peter's loss. I'd say Jack Gohlke.
Yeah, I think he made the first one and he holstered the 3 guns. And when he hit you guys on the second 3 with the like arrow celebration, I knew it was game over for Kentucky.
Yeah, and then like at the end of the first half, he fucking like banks one in. I'm like, dude, we're so like, if I feel it at home, how fucked we are. Like, they have to feel it on the bench.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was the wackest shots. I mean, they just falling away, fading away.
Someone said it
off the backboard.
Someone said it perfectly. That dude was throwing pebbles into a basket that looked like the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, and that shit happens in the tournament. Like, it didn't happen in the second round games because all the favorites won, but, it happens. And unfortunately, Kentucky was, again, kind of one of those, it was the team that kind of happened to. Yeah. And Auburn, too. It happened to Auburn this year, too.
I should have known this was all coming because, just from tracking basketball, betting on college basketball throughout the season, it's been so unpredictable. And I thought I had, like, a good sense of, like, the teams that I thought were frauds and, like, who might, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And literally everyone that I thought was a fraud has survived and advanced. And everybody that I was putting, some stock in, gone. Auburn just – I'm too logic-based and too numbers-based sometimes. I don't know what I'm doing, so when I'm trying to pick a bracket, I was like, you know what? I'm going to fade the UConn chalk I'll take Auburn. They're top 10 in offense and defense in the country. They've been hot, whatever. Bounced by Yale first round. Bracket busted.
I should have seen this. I was listening to Pardon My Take. They had Rothstein on. Love him, by the way. He's one of my favorite. Yeah. Love that he's involved in some of the airtime for some of these games. They sent him to a site this year. Love that. But he had a good point. He goes, every year there's that trap. And what he meant by the trap was the team that gets hot and wins their conference tournament and just completely fucking lays an egg in a tournament. And this year was Auburn. Every year I've gone back. I when he said it, I looked it up. I'm like, no way. And I went back and compared conference tournament champions to teams that got bounced in like the first or second round. Dude, it's every year there's one team. Every year there's one team that wins their conference tournament. Everybody gets hot on them, and they get bounced in the first or second round. Every year. And Auburn was that team this year. I should have seen it with Kentucky. They played so poorly against Texas A&M, who turns out to not be that bad of a team. They took Houston to the break last night.
Yeah.
But they just look so poorly in that game that it's like, but you didn't think Oakland would be the team to do it. But yeah, dude, it's every year there's that trap team, and Auburn was that this year. And I thought there was other teams that were frauds that just continue to. I'm not ready to eat my words on Purdue because here's the thing. Like,
will you apologize to Jeff?
Let's just call it what it is, dude. You're a 1 seed. You should at the very minimum make it out of the first weekend. Now, if you win the Sweet 16 game, I'll think about eating my words. But if you're a 1 seed, you should make it. Shouldn't be some gigantic accomplishment for you to make it out the first weekend.
Yeah, Purdue. That's a team I thought was frauds. And Syracuse. Duke, I kind of thought was fraudulent.
I thought for sure Duke was fraudulent. I thought for sure. I'm like, and I'll tell you what, I've watched a lot of Duke games this year, and they've never shot the ball like they did last night. Not a single game all year.
Arizona, Creighton, like the list goes on for me. The teams that I just thought would get bounced.
Creighton's one of those teams that I've got a future bet on that I truly think is. Dude, I don't know how their fans watch their games. It looks like complete chaos on the floor. And then all of a sudden they just pop a three. You're like, dude, balls flying, getting tipped. Next thing you know, dude's hitting a three. It's like, how the fuck does this happen? And I never thought they were fraud. But yeah, there's teams like Clemson. I always thought, dude, there ain't no way they're making it out of the first round. Not against New Mexico. No chance. And they fucking won that game by like 30. And then they pretty much manhandled Baylor last night. Let's just call it what it is.
Just the Big 12 disappointing too.
The ACC, I'll tell you, everybody talked about how, meh it was this year. It's like, dude, they got 4 fucking Sweet 16 teams.
Yeah.
4 of them, I truly think, though, this tournament, not everybody's covering this story, but NC State. And it's all because they are a bigger school. They're from the ACC, whatever. But they've now won, 8 games in 13 days.
Well, see, people thought they were the hot conference championship.
Yeah, and they
was going to get bounced.
Yeah,
of course you're there.
Now, did they get the benefit of the doubt of like Kentucky getting knocked off? That game's probably a lot tougher game for them.
Oh, yeah.
But that's how sometimes, you get the good roll of the dice, right? And then they face Oakland, and Oakland didn't play nearly as well as they did against Kentucky. They played well, but they didn't, Gohlke didn't drop 10 threes. I think he hit like 6 or something like that. But that team, it's like if you can hold that guy under 8 threes, you're probably going to have a really, really good chance of beating them. So, but that's I think NC State is I think they're the team of the tournament so far. That's dude, think about being a fan. You've watched them play basketball 8 times in less than 2 weeks. That's just insane. So,
yeah, I don't know. Well, obviously we'll tune in this weekend, but man, not a great start for my bracket for your Wildcats.
No. I'll tell you this. I'm in an auction. We had Utah State. Obviously, they did win a game, so we got paid out on that. But we're officially all in on UConn. We spent $3,600 on UConn. So, we might be getting a Husky shirt here soon.
Yeah, or a jersey. Or
something.
right. If you are still here, please subscribe, rate, and review the show. Follow us on social media at Back96Pack. That helps us out a ton. We are the last week of March. Somehow, some way.
Man.
Q1 of 2024 coming to a close, depending on what fiscal year you're on. We set some goals at the beginning of this year. Thought it would be a good time just kind of check in, do a little quarterly update where we're at. I know a lot of them that we had were pertained particularly to golf, so probably not a lot of movement on that front for either of us. But we did have some other stuff outside of that, so how are your goals looking? Where are we at?
So my swing speed and everything's up. Ball speed's up like about 6 across the board, 6 miles per hour, which, like I think I said, I had some back tightness. It kind of went on the back burner for a little bit, but I like the progress there. I think one of my goals was to run a race this year. I'm not done that yet. I actually did look into doing the Shamrock Shuffle that we have here in Westchester, but I just didn't work with the schedule. So we're still working towards that. But those were the only two that I think I hit. Everything else is kind of TBD.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Well, I've already predictably the Touch a Club Every Day challenge. Long gone. I'm probably at like 3 or 4 of the 7-day week. It's kind of where I'm at on that.
Which is still not bad.
Which, look, I think a theme with a lot of my goals this year was like very much like reach for the stars so you fall among the clouds kind of thing, you know? So yeah, that's
still not that bad though.
No, it's more than what it would be if I had not set that goal, which is good.
For sure.
Finally hit balls yesterday for the first time in a while.
So you're practicing more.
Got the
hey, it's got to start somewhere.
I guess you can count it that way. Yeah, I took Zach to the driving range and finally hit the new irons, which I've had, for 3 weeks now or whatever. Feel good. Really, really, really solid.
Yeah, I think, so the new irons, let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
So they look different than I was expecting. Okay. I don't know why. I had just had something pictured in my head, but they look like a normal cavity back almost. And maybe it was just the picture that made them look that way.
Yeah, they're definitely not.
Oh, okay.
What do you
I don't know. Like it just, I've seen, and maybe I was just thinking of like my 2 iron, right? Like that kind of like a flatter back, like maybe not so much like an indentation on the back.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of like a flatter back, but maybe I was just
I think these are
they're pretty flat, but
back.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
They probably look more like a cavity than what you're used to hitting.
Okay. Maybe that's more what I was thinking. I did leave one out for me. I started going to the gym. That has not stopped, by the way. I'm still going to the gym. I'm not going 5-6 days a week like I was, but I'm at least 4 in the gym. Working on flexibility. I am lifting weights, which not like I'm not trying to be like a bodybuilder. Like it's light weights. And I see guys looking at me in there sometimes like, what the fuck? Like when I'm like, I don't need bigger muscles. I need like leaner, stretchier muscles. So I've been doing that. I lost like 35 pounds. I have not gained any of it back yet, even though I started drinking beer again.
Nice.
But I realize I'm starting doing something really healthy when I know I'm going to drink a beer. I just don't eat food. I'll eat one meal
not
and
sure
that's
healthy or not.
I don't know.
Well,
I've actually lost maybe another 2 pounds since I started drinking beer again, but I don't know how healthy that is.
That's the muscle just burning the calories for you. That's what it is.
But I don't know. But that was one of my goals. I mean, I will try to continue to lose weight. Hopefully, as we get into the golf season, walking and stuff like that, that'll add into it, hopefully.
Yeah, I was trying to be really aggressive with my fitness and weight loss goals. One, still plan to run a half marathon under a minute or an hour 58. Was going to do the Flying Pig, but obviously then later found out that was Gun's bachelor party weekend. So
yeah, that's not going to happen.
Now running's been postponed to say the least. So that has affected what my weight loss goal was. I was going to lose 10 by April 1st. We're down 5. I'm not getting to 10 clearly, but again, reach for the stars, fall among the clouds situation.
Fast for like the next 4 days.
No, I'm not too worried about it. I feel I'm in a good spot. I've switched up my workout routine quite a bit, and like to your point, getting a little more flexible and like more functional strength.
Yes.
Doing like these, kind of like calisthenic, like either warm ups or finishers to workouts has been a big change for me. And like I just realized how inflexible and like not, like I said, not functionally strong I was.
Yeah.
Like my body just had too many weak spots.
Yep.
So yeah, doing a lot more like whole body stuff, which has been good.
Yeah. I've always found too, like I had a personal trainer for a while. He always talked about, and he never worked with a golfer before, but he started like doing, he's graduated with a degree in like, exercise science and stuff. So he's always like interested in different stuff. And he was like, the best things for golfers is to do workouts that completely extend your muscles, because that it does. And like, it just naturally makes your muscles more flexible, right? Like it just does. And what he means by that is like a lot of people, when they work out, they don't get like absolute full reps in.
Yeah.
Like it's like shorter, that is like, when you're getting like, for instance, like pull downs, right? Like most people get to here and they stop like 3/4 of the way up and stop and then start pulling back down. He's like, no, like you got to get like a full extension up, and it just naturally you're going to get more flexible and more functionally strong, right? Than like big muscle strong.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that a good way to describe it is like I was feeling imbalanced. I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint why or what that was, but I could definitely feel it if I had to do like a certain movement or, whatever.
For sure. Oh yeah.
So I'm excited. We're actually playing this weekend. Shout out to Ryan, Joe, and Aaron. Got a little foursome for Saturday morning. First time playing. I already prepped it. Look, expectation setting. I was like, don't mind me as I go shoot a million. I got new clubs. I'm working through some swing things. Like, we'll get there. One thing on the range that I was really working on, I'm a notorious like early extender. So just literally just like keeping my ass back, right? Like just staying in a good posture throughout the swing.
That never hurts.
And was in it, fairly solid for someone.
Are you a humper of the golf ball?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and you expose the hosel when you're a humper too.
Which is weird because I was always like, the miss is the toe ball.
Huh.
So like.
That's interesting.
Well,
you might be an anomaly.
I come way from the inside with a shut face. That's the thing.
Okay.
So trying to stay back, giving myself room to actually swing the club.
That makes a little more sense. Yeah.
It seemed to,
yeah, humping the golf ball is never good.
No, massive power loss.
It is, yeah.
Inconsistent strikes, all over the place. Yeah. It's not good. So I'm trying to work. That's where we're at.
I used to be a humper.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got rid of it. I would tell you, but I just like naturally worked its way out. I think it naturally worked its way out when I started trying to hit a cut.
That's that would make sense.
Like 5 years ago, I was like, I'm going to start cutting the golf ball. And then it just like naturally worked its way out. I stopped humping it.
I will say it's interesting. I was working on this, so maybe this is part of it too, but I was missing a few to the right. And like it felt, I didn't have a single toe strike when I was hitting.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's just like having the 2-degree flat iron finally.
Maybe, probably.
Or if it was
something to do with it.
Hitting more towards the heel just by the movement I was doing was a little different. I don't know. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm not expecting any kind of good score here, but it's score posting season. It's going to go in regardless.
Yeah, I couldn't play Saturday with you guys. I'm playing Friday though.
Yeah.
For Good Friday.
For Good Friday. That's what we do on Good Friday.
That's how I celebrate. Yeah.
I respect that. Nothing else really left on the goals front. I'm behind on the books already. That's a consistent thing in my life that I struggle to do. But we'll figure it out. Yeah.
I didn't say this one, but I tried to venture out in the podcast I listen to. I'm a golf heavy podcast listener.
I need to be better too.
And I'm honestly just the general sports heavy podcast listener. What is it? Wondery, dude. They've got some really cool stuff out there. Everything from like murder mysteries to. I found this podcast from a while ago, but they talk about different like business rivals. I thought it was really cool. I just listened to the Nike versus Adidas one.
Oh, that's interesting.
Kind of awesome. Yeah. So I ventured out in that. I don't think I said that in our goals episode, but I was like, I've got to get some other substance in my life.
I know.
And so I've been good about that and not burying myself in like every new Netflix show that comes out and I've been better at that too.
Yeah. I've been I usually listen to anytime I'm listening to something, it's usually podcast. I've been trying to listen to music more just to get my brain thinking a different way or what, you know what I mean? Like get out of the routine a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, my kids always want music on in the car. So music heavy if they're in the car.
I have to commute downtown though, so I've got some time. And then my workouts,
my 6 minute commute, there's not a lot of time to get stuff in at that point.
All right. I don't even want to talk about this right now. No, I'm kidding. Look, Peter Malnati won. The back 9 6-pack bump is still real.
And that should have been the key indicator. We probably should have taken him.
Yeah. He shoot 80 at the Players?
Yeah.
Comes out and wins.
Oh, my God.
In somewhat dramatic fashion, too. I mean.
Yeah. It's just the floppy hat and the yellow ball.
Dude.
It's all of it. It's a mood.
He's peak, PJ Tour dad vibes.
Yeah, he did have a really good interview.
The interview was awesome.
It was great. That was all I saw from this week, and I didn't watch much of it. Just kind of had it, checking it in the background with all the basketball on. But that interview was fantastic.
Yeah, it's his first win since 2015. First one as a dad, and this will be his first Masters here in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
So that's just crazy. Going from, like I said, shooting that 80 at the Players and, to winning at a course like Valspar, where that's a tough finishing stretch. And he had a really, really good back 9.
That course it's kind of crazy how hard that course plays.
Some of those tee shots, man, are
dude, they're wicked
tight.
They're wicked.
Yeah,
it's wicked. And just keeping on this same thing, another triple-digit odd winner again this year. I think he was like 110 to 1.
Yeah,
was his odds at the beginning of the week, which is just, it's incredible that it just keeps happening.
Well, and there was, obviously all the discourse around golf and everything about the money and the signature events and stuff. And, all these guys like the Peter Malnatis of the world that
are coming out and winning these tournaments.
Yeah. They were the ones that were complaining that they're getting left behind and all this, not Peter himself, but
no, just like guys
his
like
class
him.
Of player. Yeah. And then now, they've won 9 of the 12 events or whatever there've been. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like either like a triple digit
or
odds or Scotty Scheffler. Yeah. It's been wild.
Gosh.
Back to his post round interview. Seriously, just when you see those moments, that's like what makes it, as a golf fan, those are the moments that I find the most intriguing and I care about the most,
Couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Yeah, he was when he was talking about trying to live this lifestyle and be a dad and he was trying to be, I relate to this too, trying to be the best you can for everyone and for every role you play.
Yep.
And how hard life is and how hard golf is, when you're a professional.
Yeah.
That was such a really, really good quote.
Yeah, you're trying to be everyone's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
I think anybody that's
so hard.
Anybody that's in a committed relationship, has kids, a job, I'm sure you feel that.
Or
way.
just anybody counting on them in general. Yeah.
Anybody with a dependent. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
It was pretty cool. The yellow ball is kind of wild too. I think he said something about his son wanting them to play it or something like that.
He said his son liked the yellow ball when he was 3 or something, so he just started playing.
It's fuck it, we're playing it.
Yeah. What? That's great.
I know. I love it. Those storylines are look, as much as we love seeing the dominance of Scotty Scheffler and stuff like that, having guys like this win tournaments, is it the best for TV ratings? Probably not, but true golf fans appreciate it.
It just feels like the last 3 years, everything has just been about the money and who's playing
and
where.
You got this dude.
And then when you finally have, you're reminded of the fact that it's a competitive professional sport.
And there's dudes literally out here playing for their mortgage payments and
and it
livelihoods.
It's nice it's always good to be reminded that it means something.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what we got this week.
Yeah, because as much as I love Scotty Scheffler, dude's not playing for his mortgage payment.
No, but he's playing for greatness, though, which is in its own way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but the Rorys of the world. Like, does it really matter to him that he's only made $800,000 this year? In the grand scheme of things, that's a drop in the bucket for him.
Sure.
But there's other guys out here that, scratching and clawing their way to like winning $1.5 million over a whole season, and them keeping their card is like, I mean, dude, that's the difference between a lot of things, right? Like, it's ones, if they don't, it's the next step is going down the Corn Ferry, and the next thing you know, you're 1 year from losing your job completely. So it's nice to see guys like this win. I know, again, not great for TV ratings, but it's definitely, it makes you remember that there's other guys out there that are just like absolutely grinding, and they're real people doing a real job,
Yeah, for sure. Someone is a real person trying to do a real job.
Trying is the key word.
Our winner of the back nine, or who needed the back nine 6-pack this week. Do you know where I'm going with this?
I do. I think I saw the scorecard.
Yep. Look, I think pretty much all of our kings are on notice right now. It's not good. We need some new ones.
It's not.
Some new kings to emerge.
Yeah, apparently. Or we need to associate ourselves with better people.
Yeah,
I'm going to take the parent route here. We need to look around and see who we're surrounding ourselves with.
You know what? That could be what it is. You're right. We have power in this situation. Justin Thomas on Saturday,
dude. Like I said, I didn't watch much at all, and I heard of what happened. Like,
yeah. I'll just start here. So Justin Thomas on Saturday birdies the first hole and is tied for the lead of the tournament. At the end of the day, he was tied for 66th place.
Didn't he? How many feet of putts did he make? Wasn't it some stupid low, like 22 feet or something like that?
Had to be, because I mean he was missing like 2, 4, 5 foot putts left and right. Like,
yeah, I saw a 22 number out there, 22 feet of putts in 18 holes.
He had as many putts on his round as he did shots on the back nine.
Holy shit.
38 putts. He lost 7.02 strokes gained putting, which is like an all-time horrifyingly bad putting round. He shot 79, so didn't hit the 80 number. But, like I said, birdies the first, goes on to shoot a 41 on the front. Definitely didn't get the back nine 6-pack because he, like I said, he shot 38 on the back. But yeah, I mean, going from tied for first after the first hole.
Dude, that's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, what a horrid round of golf. Like, and I heard, or at least what I read, he kind of mailed it in a little bit.
Maybe. I didn't watch, so I don't know.
That's the vibe I got. Like,
yesterday, I think he still finished strong. Like, he shot right around par. But yeah, 79 for JT. I'm cracking this one for him.
Poor one out.
I mean, the putting has been in, like, anytime you watch him, even when he was at, like, the best of his abilities, like, the putting was always a little scary. Like, it was streaky when it was good.
Yeah.
But it was never really great.
It was never a strong suit of his, for sure. And but that's just, dude, that is so bad.
You're coming off the heels of last year where it was like, we were shooting 80s and majors and
then you almost did it again. You almost shot in the 80s again.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because he had been playing pretty well for the start of the year outside of the miscut at, Genesis for us. That we could probably take the blame for that one, honestly, given our record at this point.
Yeah, we're a hex on anybody at this point.
But yeah, I don't know. It's the guy like him and, Spieth. Like, it seems like he's in the wilderness. I don't know if he's going to shoot 80 or 63.
I read this on Twitter. I don't even know who posted it. But they posted a picture of David Duval and Justin Thomas and tell me these two guys don't have the same career path. And it's kind of hard to differentiate the two right now.
Yeah, just go on like a 2-year heater and then
2-year heater, number one player in the world, major, a couple majors. And then you slowly fall into the abyss of just disappearing.
Yeah.
Now I'll give David Duvall a little bit of slack here. He dealt with some medical issues, got vertigo really bad. Just never came back from that. He also didn't help that he started playing his hottest golf when Tiger Woods was just absolutely torching everybody. But I mean, seriously though, you look at like how things are progressing. It is like a mirror image between those two guys.
Yeah, JT's only 30, I think. Like he's 30, 31.
Yeah, David Duvall was a little older when he kind of reached his peak, but like as far as like how it's happening, it's pretty eerie how similar the two paths are. Yeah, where JT's heading and where David Duvall was and went.
Yeah.
I hope it's not true. I really don't. But I'll tell you this right now. I know the President's Cup is not a big deal, but I want that dude nowhere near a U.S. team, the way he's playing golf. And just, look, I get it. He's the heartbeat of what we thought was going to be the heartbeat of our team golf for the next 15 years, 20 years. But I can't justify, unless he qualifies, I would not be able to justify him being on a President's Cup team right now.
I'm not prepared to say that yet, but I will say, like, he's a guy that a lot of times going into majors and big events and things like that, people will talk up, people will, put money on, people will, talk up in fantasy golf circles, but like, I think at this point, it's like a wait and see with JT.
Yeah, I think
I'm done trying to like
unbettable.
predict the week.
Yeah.
I think
can't.
You got to show us something at some point. To quote Jay,
or just shows, or just show some consistency. Because anytime it feels like he's found the road, and he's trucking along, it's like it immediately falls right off the tracks. Like it's. Last year he's like, I think I can't remember what term it was, but it was like, okay, here it is. Like he's finding it. And then it was like, I think it was 2 weeks later, the U.S. Open, he just completely lays an egg. It's like, he can't be trusted.
Yeah. Save
your money. Don't bet him.
It took me way too long to get to this point because I'm a fan, but we're coming up on the Masters, and it just does not.
And they're not touching that. I don't care what his odds are, and they're probably going to be pretty long the way he's been playing golf. But
just remind me of this in 2 weeks or whatever it is.
Before we start talking ourselves into taking him.
Yeah. All right, JT, you needed the back 9 6-pack this week.
Speaking of needing back 9 6-packs,
Jesus, dude, it's so improbable. I don't even know what to say about it anymore.
Yeah, I look. We went gut feeling last week. I feel like that's just the road we got to go down at this point. So if we got a good feeling about somebody, it doesn't matter if we think they would be a good fit for the U.S. Open or some big tournament. Just truly feel like we just need to take them. Like, you know what I mean? And I thought that's what we were kind of doing last week. It's like, okay, it's like this guy doesn't need to be in good form. But then to come to find out, I don't know if I sent it to you. Apparently people think he's injured.
Great.
Keegan was injured.
I didn't know that. Was he hurt or injured?
Maybe both. But, yeah, I don't know. I have at this point, I feel like, it doesn't matter what the pot is. Like, we just got to take somebody. If we got a good feeling, we just need to get a positive. And we have to get off this miscut streak.
The last one we had, Steven Yeager in Mexico, was T3.
Yeah,
I think it's the last cash that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
The leader did not, or had a miscut this week as well, but still at a nice 11.1 million.
Oh my God.
We are at 1.2 million, which is 4.87 million outside of the money.
Look.
Would have been nice to have Scott Scheffler with the players win.
About 4.5 million. It would look a lot better right now.
Shout out Nikki Picks. I don't even know really where to go here. Hopefully it's
I'll tell you this, it's gotten so bad we're getting trolled on Instagram now.
Yeah, strangers are trolling us now. I don't even know.
And you know what? I'm not even mad about it because we deserve every bit of it.
That's fair. It's fair, yeah.
What did he say?
We're not above it.
He's like, what did he say? He's like something like, if you think Keegan Bradley is going to get you off this or something. Like if betting Keegan Bradley is going to get you off your cold streak.
Yeah, he was based, I think it was something like, or picking Keegan Bradley's not, or getting you out of any hole or something.
Oh,
like that.
Yeah.
Which, when you say that out loud, I mean, I kind of agree with it.
Yeah, well, after the week you had, you're like, oh, fuck, this guy was definitely right.
Yeah, I mean, look, some of the ones have been truly, like, just disasters. Like, I mean, JT at Genesis was a disaster. Willie Z was a disaster at the Players. Keegan was like a shot out of the cut. Like, it was, could have been there.
I know.
Are you looking up the comment?
Yeah, so he said betting Keegan ain't bringing you back from nothing.
Yeah.
And, sir, you were 100% correct.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're on to, what is this, the Texas Children's Houston Open.
Yeah.
I know nothing about this golf course, to be honest with you.
I don't either.
I didn't read about it, nothing. The only thing I know is I scrolled through some results from past tournaments.
Didn't even do that.
I think this was a fall event that got moved back into the spring. This is what we're dealing with here.
Okay.
I think Tony Finau has won at this golf course.
Okay.
Scotty Scheffler has 2 top 10s here. Not shocking.
Yeah, and he's plus 300 this week.
Oh, God. Yeah, we're really getting into Tiger, betting odds territory. So, yeah, I can't tell you anything about this course. Needless to say, look, you guys shouldn't be tailing our picks anyway. You should be fading them.
You should actually make a bet that, like a miscut bet on the person we take.
God, if you rolled that, I wonder what that would look like.
Oh, my God. Oh, dude. Considering we missed 2 cuts on, like, what are they?
Top
modified cut events.
Yeah.
Where, like, there could be no cut.
Oh, I totally forgot about Matt Fitzpatrick in that run, too. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, I'd be thousands of dollars. Thousands.
Depending on the wager amount.
Thousands of dollars.
All right. What's your gut telling you about Houston this week?
Thagala.
Yep.
Hell yeah, I'm glad. Let's burn this thing to the ground together.
Yeah,
he might be our new king though, by the way. I'm in on him. I love him.
Yeah. We haven't talked about it, but I've started building my Masters portfolio, just sprinkling here and there while I'm, watching and monitoring the tournaments.
You went full in about a week ago on making like 6 or 7 Masters bets.
I made 2.
Oh, you did. You made it seem like you made a lot.
No, so I had the Hideki one from back at the Genesis right before the back 9 heater.
That's right.
I grabbed. I don't even like Brian Harman, but the number was good. I knew it was going to crash, which it did. So I got a little sprinkle on Harman and Sahith.
I don't disagree with it. I like it, and I'm glad we're going with him this week.
Yeah, he's riding some good form. Couple top 10s. He's got a top 10 at this course in the past 2. Famous last words. We're knocking on any wood in the near vicinity.
Like watching
here.
A slow train wreck.
Yeah, so this is go ahead and bet your Sahith Thagala to miss the cut right now.
I might do it just to try to reverse something.
Yeah.
Like bet him to miss the cut.
Do it.
Because my golf betting this year has been absolute trash too. So
I've been okay.
Other than hitting Scotty last week, which still was like, what was it? I think I got him at like 450 to 1 or 450 plus 450 or plus 500. So it wasn't like I went out on a limb and, hit something decent. But other than that, I've been ice cold. So I might just place a miscut bet on Sahith this week just to try to reverse engineer our issues. I don't know what else to say.
I'll do it too. We'll put the full energy behind it. We got full bad energy behind it.
We got to get a fully behind him missing the cut, and he will definitely win.
Yeah, that's the bet. Incoming top 50.
I'm glad we just agreed that I saw him. He's like top 4 in odds. I'm like, this has got to be the play.
Yeah, probably going to be popular, but like we said, we just need some money at this point. All right, I think it's time. You know what? Are we back? Is it Patio Beers season?
It is. I had one this evening.
We touched 70 today.
Yeah. I was like, we got home from our weekend trip. I worked a little bit, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the dogs out back, toss some Frisbee with the dog, and have a beer. It was perfect.
Yeah.
And it's like perfect Patio Beer season, too. Like that 65, 70.
Oh, yeah.
It's not 150 degrees outside.
It's like the first rays of sun that you've seen in months. Yeah.
God, it was so perfect out. It is officially Patio Beer season.
Well, I'll lead this one off because this kind of relates to that. Didn't have a really great question for tonight, but I thought about asking the very, very basic favorite season question, but I think that's just too easy.
That's way too easy. Yeah.
So I'm curious, what's your favorite like seasonal transition? Because there's some people that ride hard for like
fall.
The summer into fall. Some people like winter. I hate winter.
Yeah. I love when it gets dark. I love when it goes from getting dark at 6:30 to getting dark at 5:15 overnight because of the time change.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. That's a good question. For me, so obviously the top two are summer into fall. Only because I don't mind. The problem is we haven't really had much of a fall transition in recent years. Like it's gone from like 80 to you have to have a full fucking jacket on. Like there's no like I'm gonna walk outside in a hoodie today. Like it's either 80 or 45.
Yeah.
But that transition's great just because like all the sports going on, football's back. That's because that does go into it. Like I think the type of weather you like, what's going on during that time.
Yeah.
But man, when you live through like a winter and you're just like ready to go, I don't think there's anything better than watching the leaves return to the trees, busting out the shorts for the first time. Like that is a great feeling after living through a Midwest winter.
Yeah, I think those are the two options, right? It's summer into fall and then winter into spring.
For sure.
Spring into summer doesn't really feel like much around here.
It doesn't, but I will say that crossed my mind because you get the pools to start opening and you're like, fuck, I'm going to like come home on a Friday and crush some pool beers.
Yeah.
But it's not much of a transition, I feel like.
Yeah, it's not stark enough.
No.
But yeah, I think you're spot on about like kind of the things that are happening around that time of year too. Because you're right, like when football's kicking off, it's still like warm enough where you got like shorts on, but maybe you got like a thinner like top layer pullover or something on. Like that's nice.
Fall golf is fantastic.
You make your first like pot of chili, like some of that.
Yeah.
But in the spring, I mean, when you've got March Madness is happening, you're coming up on the NFL draft, the Masters,
sports month.
You get your first like few patio beers in, your first like real round of golf. That's
your seasonal depression starts going away.
Yeah, you just kind of feel better.
Yeah,
overall. Yeah, I think
you might be like skinnier from working out over the winter, so you're like your clothes fit a little better.
Yeah,
because like sometimes you head into the fall and you're like, I got a little fat and lazy over the summer, drinking a little too many pool beers, started hitting the chili a little earlier. You physically may not feel as well. So that's why I think spring is like winter into spring is definitely got to be the choice.
The one thing that I think the difference between the two, for me, the big difference, you always try to make spring happen. You know what I mean? Like you're always like teetering like on the edge of like I'm too early to shorts or like I should have worn a jacket today. There's always like a little fits and starts to it.
Yeah.
Versus when you're going from summer into fall, you kind of can like ease right in.
Yeah.
It's like a very easy transition.
Yeah. Shorts is people don't want to give up the shorts. So like wearing shorts when it's like borderline is like not maybe judged as much. But like in the winter and the spring, if it's like if it's going to be 65, 70 out and you're like, but it's 37 in the morning, you're going to get judged for wearing shorts out there.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's 37 right now, but it's going to be 70 later.
Like, I don't
know what I mean?
I don't know what it is, but like 50 degrees in March feels so much different than 50 degrees in October.
Dude, it feels like it's 80 out.
See, I think it's different. I think it's way colder than you expect it to be. Like you want it to be warmer than it really is.
So that's a good point. But I think around here, or just in the Midwest in general, springs are a lot more windy.
That's what it is. You're right. It's the
falls.
Wind. It's the wind.
Truly believe that. That's such a Midwestern thing for us to say. I mean, if it wasn't for the wind, it'd be 70 out here. It's like, well, it's 35. So,
Yep.
Yeah, it's like sun shining, 25-mile-an-hour wind. Well, if the wind wasn't blowing, it'd be like 65. The wind is blowing, and it's 38. So, but I think and again, this is very Midwestern of us, but it truly is windier in the spring than it is in the fall. Yeah. So I think 50 and windy feels pretty chilly. 50 and like a light breeze doesn't feel that bad.
Yeah.
That's my take. I don't know how scientifically correct that is, but
it feels like it's right, which I'm okay with in this case.
We're not scientists.
I think we've decided officially, though, we are a winter into spring
for sure
podcast.
Oh yeah, summer to fall's close. I do enjoy the fact, like, when it's summer, like school's getting out. That's kind of a cool transition because that to me is like the start of the summer. Like,
yeah, dude, Memorial Day, and then like you roll in. And
it's like the pool's open. Like you don't even have to get in the pool. You're like, I'm just gonna go to the pool and drink.
Yeah,
because I do that a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can just put my feet in. You know?
Yeah,
that's not a bad. But I think winter and the spring is.
On the record, summer is my favorite season, but I think the best transition is winter into spring. I think that's where I fall.
Yeah. And then, like, I love baseball. And we got opening day this Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, in Cincinnati, that is a holiday.
Yeah.
And to me, that is like the true kickoff to spring. As soon as baseball starts, that's spring. Busting the shorts out.
I'll stick with the Masters, but I
know. I'm saying, though, like, to me, it's like, look, the Masters is like, spring is like, okay, everything about spring is around us. But the baseball starting's like, okay, like, it is only going to get better from here. Like, but I say that, and we could probably have snow in April. So, like, we could get some bad luck and get some snow.
One last note. I saw an Instagram reel where it was like just the audio of a baseball game, and you could hear like the vendor in the stands, and he's like, beer, 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 and then it's just crack of the bat, guy hits a home run, and it's just like the sound of summer, and I was like, oh.
Dude, that sounds so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be there on Thursday. I cannot wait. It's going to be a little chilly, but just something about like being in the stands, getting like a shitty stadium hot dog. I don't know.
I mean, I think light beer was invented for baseball games.
100%.
Like straight up.
100%. 100%.
It just hits so different in a baseball game.
It truly does. Oh. I'm probably gonna splurge on a summer shandy on Thursday.
You might have to, yeah.
I think this is probably the best seats I've ever had for an opening day game too. Like, I'm very much looking forward to Thursday. I'm very excited.
Good. Maybe I'll see you down there.
Baseball's a vibe though. Like I know there's not a lot of fans, and it's like kind of feels like a dying sport, but. I like, some people are like, oh, I could never just go sit and watch 9 innings. Dude, fuck yeah, I could. I could go by myself and watch 9 innings of baseball in the stadium. Now, watching on TV is a whole different story. But I think in the stadium, what you just talked about, the recording, like, it's just the sounds, right? Yeah. It's full. A baseball stadium has just an eclectic amount of sounds going on.
Yeah, and just like you have like that hum of the crowd.
Yep.
Everybody, the highs and the low of the game itself, like. The older I get, the more I appreciate the things that like make you slow down in life.
Baseball is definitely one of those,
and like in a good way. Like
yeah.
Especially now with the rule changes, like it's gotten faster as a game. Which
but
is
it's
good.
like it's a good slow.
But baseball is basically just a hang. It's just a summer hang.
It is.
Yeah.
And like what, and I know you know this about opening day. Like it's essentially a social event. Like it's not even like it's a social event with a baseball game going on in the background. Like like I know. Bunch of people from the industry I'm in, like you meet people down there, you're talking about anything but what's going on in the actual game, so yeah, but it does make you slow down. I kind of why I love it.
Yeah,
which again, we're living in our best transition right now, so
what a great time to be alive.
That was a great question.
Thank you. That was a last minute,
made me like feel really good about the position we're in right now.
Timely. I know. Things are looking up.
So I went back to the Reddit pages for this one.
These are always good. Okay.
No, it definitely made me think, though. And it's a golf question. So the question was, could you birdie all 18 holes of your home course in 24 hours? And if it couldn't do it in 24 hours, how long would you realistically would it take you?
I saw this question as well. Actually, I think Gunth sent it to us in our group chat.
Maybe he did.
You were traveling. You may have missed it. His answer, he said undoubtedly, like he has no doubt he'd be able to do it.
Now, how quick could you do it? Like, if you know you could do it within 24 hours, and you got a golf cart, like you can go, like if you have to play a hole 7 times, like you can golf cart it, like up and back, up and back. Can I tell you how I broke down? And in this post, I think it says something like you didn't have to play the holes in order.
No, you get your own.
Like you can just go out and play any hole.
Course to yourself to go do it. Yeah.
So for our course, I broke it down into what holes can I just like get out of the way really quickly.
That's what I was going to ask you. What's your strategy overall?
Like it would be like find the 6 holes that it's like, okay, I can knock this out in like 1 or 2 tries. For me, that's every par 5 plus 7, short par 4. And then I always play 18 really well. That was another one where like, okay, I know I can get these knocked out pretty quickly. Then I'd go to the drawing board and go, okay, what 6 holes are like, this could take me 4 or 5 tries. And then, go that way. And then like, okay, what are the 6 hardest holes? Like, what am I going to be really grinding out? Like, it's going to take me 7 to 10 tries, maybe longer to get a birdie on. That would be the theory I would have behind it.
Yeah. I think you just, like, to your point, you gotta get momentum. You gotta knock out some early, because what you don't want to do is like, oh, I'm gonna get the hard one, right? And it takes you forever, and then you're like,
that's what I'm saying. It takes you 12 hours to birdie 3 holes, and it's like, okay, now you're just frustrated,
right?
Like you want to get on a roll going into the hard holes, and then maybe that momentum kind of carries you forward.
I think it's probably harder than what my initial reaction was. Like I
100% think that's the case.
Because I was just thinking about
would start to set in.
Yeah, the
too.
fatigue and like just the focus of like, you know what I mean? Like I mean, now granted, if you hit a bad shot, you can abandon ship and just start over.
Yeah, just fine. Like chip it up there, not chip or chip putt done, go back.
But like, man, it would. I just feel like it would be such a grind. Like, it truly would be like a mental thing.
So my initial thought was that, right? And like, dude, this would be fucking easy, right? Like, this would be so easy. And then I started thinking about like the ones that I considered the hardest holes.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking like, okay, how many times did I birdie this hole last year? Like, shit. Like, okay, I recorded probably close to 55 rounds, 60 rounds. Fuck, I've only birdied it like twice last year in 60 rounds, right? And you're like, or I birdied this hole 4 times in 60 rounds. You're like, fuck, this is probably going to be harder than I'm giving it credit for.
Yeah, so I've been a member there for 4 seasons now. I usually play like 30 to 40 rounds a year probably. There's probably still a couple holes out there that I haven't birdied yet.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
All right. Well.
So like I don't know if I... Now if there's no stake, like would I attempt it? Sure. But like if there's no stakes, but if there were some stakes to this, I'd think about not trying.
So the only thing that made me like feel a little better about... I told myself that I know I could do it in less than 24. I thought like a really good goal would be doing it in like less than 12. Like
that would be tight. Yeah,
it would be tight, but I truly think like the easy holes. If like maybe even half of them, I only had to play like if I did half of them in 1 try, half of them in like 2 to 3 tries, I feel like But what made me think about it is what could be easy for it, or make it easier is you're not aiming at the middle of the green. Like you're aiming at every pin. You're trying to hit it at everything, like, because I don't do that, right? Like, I'm like, on certain holes with certain pins, I'm like, all right, I'm hitting it here to 25 feet or 20 feet. If I get lucky and maybe pulled a little bit, it's going to be 12 feet. Like, you're aiming at every pin. And again, like you said, you can just abandon ship, like, oh, I missed the green, chip it, try to chip it in. Oh, I missed it. Okay, 2 putts and take it back. And like, you can be a lot more aggressive, I think, than you would be in a regular round of golf. That was my thinking behind. I think that does make it a little easier.
Yeah. But again, this is also like me sitting here as a fairly inconsistent 7. There's just a couple holes out there where I'm like, man, if it might take me, like I'm thinking about like 4 white or 8, maybe even 8 white, like some of the 7. Really, it's the white course that I think there's a couple holes where you could get
or
bogged
5
down.
red. You're playing it from 215. What's the wind that day? Like if it's playing in the wind, dude, that's gonna be a fucking impossible birdie.
The freaking like one on red's not that difficult, but like I just struggle with that, and maybe that's just like a first hole thing for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I was just because I don't think I ever played that hole well. Like that was gonna be my middle 6.
Yeah,
of like, okay, let me get on a roll, and I feel like if I'm on a roll, I can probably birdie that pretty easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's definitely some holes out there. It's like I could see myself getting stuck on pretty easily.
Which one do you consider the hardest for you?
7 white, so 16.
Yeah, for people that are listening that don't know our course, how long is that? Probably
it's only about 380.
Yeah. So
but what my problem is that leaves me like anywhere between 75 and 90 yards. Well, the green's got a 3% grade on it.
Yeah,
and
back to front.
And I've tried, and I'll tell you this, I've tried every shot, dude. And I've tried to control spin in there. I've tried to take more club, and every time it's like just the tiniest bit of spins right back off the green.
It is incredibly difficult to hit it hole high on that hole.
It's so hard.
And that's a problem for that one.
Especially like if you were trying it this time of year, right?
Well,
it's soft.
Yeah.
Like people think I'm crazy, but when that hole gets firm, it makes me so freaking happy because I'm like, I know that like my ball's going to hop on the green.
Yeah.
Like it's going to take one hop and probably stop, maybe spin a little bit, but it's definitely not coming back off. But it is hard to get a ball hole high, and then if you hit it short of the pin, it's hard to keep it. Like especially a front or middle pin, it's like you don't want to be above it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
but trying to keep it below it, it's hard to keep it on the green. Right. That hole lives rent free in my head. It's actually a crazy story about that hole. The guy that's won the club championship like 8 or 9 times. He used to like front pin. He would actually lay it up short of the green. He didn't even try to hit it on the green.
Wow.
He would lay it up 10 yards short, 5 yards short, putt it, some kind of Texas wedge up onto the green.
It's like, 'cause it's not necessarily, if you're not a great chipper, it's not an easy chip.
No, but I think if you get close enough, you can putt it, and that makes it a lot easier,
Yeah.
But yeah, that hole would be, well, if you had to pick one hole that would hold you up, that like what would it be?
I think it's 4 on white.
Yeah, you don't play that hole well.
Well, I think it's
I think it's a tough hole. I mean, it's 410-ish.
I usually, honestly, the tee shot's not bad for me because it's, especially when I'm hitting it good, it's usually a draw, hit up the right, and it comes down. It's fine. But the approach shot, that's one where I just never seem to club it right. Like I'm either in between clubs, you come up a little long, a little short, whatever. And it's just like, and then if you do hit the green, I mean, prayers up. Like,
it's not an easy green.
Depending on where the pin is and where you end up, like you're
like your putt's breaking 3.5, 4 feet. Yeah.
So I think just from like a putting perspective, that
I didn't even think about up by the green. But I will tell you this is the other thing that I kind of took into consideration. So like when you said like you never clubbed that shot right, a lot of times you're probably in the back of your mind, you're probably telling yourself something a little shorter because you don't want to go long. And you can't really go long. I mean, that's an automatic bogey, probably even a double, depending on what your chip shot does.
Yeah.
But when you're doing this, like you're like, all right, fuck, I should probably hit 6 iron, but I'm going to hit 7. Like if you're playing regular golf. But in this, you're like, fuck no, I'm hitting 6. Who cares if I go over? Like, you know what I mean? And then you might club right. You know what I'm saying?
How dare you say 6 and 7 iron, sir? But
well, I'm just saying. Okay, like probably like for you on that hole at 9 and 8 iron.
Yeah, it's usually in that range. And if I hit a really good drive, it's a wedge of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you're like, no, I'm going to make sure this ball gets there because I got to make a birdie, right? So that makes it a little easier.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but yeah, I didn't even think about around the green. You know, making a putt on that hole is not particularly easy.
That's what I mean. Just
for whatever reason, of all the quote unquote hard holes out there, if I find the fairway on that hole, which in the past used to be a problem, I've kind of figured it out recently, and I've birdied it a lot. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. It truly doesn't. Like, that is a hole that is, because of the green, shouldn't be birdied that much, but I birdied it a lot last year, and it makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Like, none.
Yeah.
And then you consider 7, which is like a shorter hole, not as tight off the tee. And it's like, I struggle with that one, but it's all an approach shot. So,
yeah, that one makes total sense to struggle on. That's a tough one.
But yeah, I don't know. I said if I could do it in less than 12, I'd be happy.
I think I'd be right. I'd be right up against it at a full 24. I think
it makes me want to try it, man. Like, tell me. So you go, like, if you took a Tuesday or something. And it did say in its post, like, it doesn't have to be a consecutive 24 hours. Obviously, that's not possible. Sunlight, this and that.
Sure.
But I think you could do like a 12 hours and then like on the weekend do like a 5 and then like the next weekend do, you know, another 7 or 5 or whatever. And just like you would have to go out there in the evening. But at our course, which is nice, like in the evenings, like there's not a lot of people out there. Like if you went off at like 1:30, you could easily get 7 or 8 hours in. You know, especially when it's the longest daylight. I kind of want to try it. I really want to try it.
But yeah, if we could, I mean, why not?
That'd be awesome.
I think you could do it just knowing how you play the course there. Like, I mean, you know, I've seen you a normal round make 7, 8 birdies, you know, so like it.
I think I definitely could do it. I just would like my goal to push myself to another level would be like, I'm doing this in less than 12 hours.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's true.
But I know that's pushing it. Like, that's going to be tough. I mean, that would be really, really tough.
Yeah.
But I would want to try to get at least 5 holes, 4 or 5 holes where I do it in one try. Which I think that's a realistic goal.
I think that's realistic for you, yeah.
Because you got to think like the par 5s, like in a given round, if I don't even have like a decent look at birdie on like half of them, I'm pissed off. You know what I mean?
I mean, the only
just because they're reachable.
Yeah, the only way you wouldn't is if you were in trouble off the tee, basically. Yeah.
I thought that question was great. It made me think a lot, and like, but at first I was like, this is easy. Like, what are we talking about? But I would like to like, it'd be interesting to ask like a 16 handicapper, like. Okay, you definitely can't do it in 24. How long would you realistically think it would take you? And that's an answer I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious what level of player is like, no, I absolutely could not do it.
And it would take me
years.
20 days, 30 days, like 20 or 30 combined days to do it.
Yeah.
Or years, really. Yeah. I mean, we know a couple guys that it's like, it'd probably take you 5-6 years to do this.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the weekend warrior life is for.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, it's good to be back. Patio season is upon us. Playing some golf this weekend. Very excited. I need to get out of here and blow my nose. God, this science. Last thing, I went to urgent care, got the antibiotic, all that stuff. My dumb ass, I didn't read the label properly. I was supposed to be taking 2 of these things a day. I've only been taking 1, so like I'm not even getting the full benefits of the antibiotic. I'm a mess.
What the hell was wrong with you? They're like, you should take 2 a day. I'm like, first day, I'm taking 4 of these bad boys.
Honestly, I should have. Just doing 2 a days on antibiotics.
Like, this doctor doesn't know what the fuck I'm going through right now.
Yeah, it's tough, but. Alrighty. Appreciate you for listening. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show. Follow us on @Back96Pack on any social media platform. Also, if you want a hat, restock. Time for the season.
Yeah.
Justin's got the Patio Beers hat on. I think you've been here long enough. I think I'm going to post tomorrow. We're going to do a giveaway.
Let's do it.
I'm going to So watch out. If you're listening to this now, it may already be out. But
maybe we'll do something where people submit their own picks for the tournament this week and close the highest finisher. We'll give a hat to.
That's a great idea. Yeah, that's
because everybody seems to have so many opinions about our picks.
Yeah, we'll get our Sahith pick out there. You guys can't pick him, but for the person that picks the non-Sahith winner or that finishes the highest outside of Sahith, you're going to get a free hat this week, so stay tuned to our Instagram channel.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. I was like, that'd be perfect. Everybody's got opinions.
Yeah. Let's put your name on something.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time, cheers.
See ya. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six-Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six-Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.